Welcome to this Jung-inspired psychological test. As the three chairs appear on your screen, don't analyze or hesitate, simply notice which one pulls your attention first. According to Carl Jung, our instant attractions reveal deeper layers of our personality. Your choice will uncover hidden traits, motivations, and the energy that shapes who you truly are. Ready to discover what your mind chooses for you? Choosing chair number 1 reveals a personality shaped by sensitivity, depth, and a refined appreciation for beauty, both in the world and within people. If this is the chair you felt drawn to, it suggests that you resonate with environments that feel warm, familiar, and emotionally rich. The floral patterns and classic design speak to someone who values emotional security, meaningful connections, and a sense of continuity with the past. You are not the type to chase chaos or superficial excitement. Instead, you seek experiences that nurture your inner world and allow you to feel grounded, understood, and emotionally held. This choice reflects a naturally introspective person, someone who absorbs details, remembers feelings, and pays attention to the subtleties that others often miss. You likely have a strong intuitive sense of people, noticing small shifts in tone, mood, or energy, even when no words are spoken. You are often the one others confide in because they sense your empathy and your ability to hold space without judgment. At the same time, your attraction to this elegant, almost nostalgic chair suggests you may carry a deep respect for tradition, values, and emotional history, whether that history is your own or something you feel connected to on a symbolic level. You are drawn to comfort, but not the kind that is empty or lazy. You prefer comfort that comes from familiarity, harmony, beauty, and emotional depth. There is a part of you that longs for gentleness in a world that can often feel rushed or harsh, and this longing is not a weakness. It is a sign of emotional intelligence and inner richness. You may have a romantic view of life, not necessarily in the sentimental sense, but in the way you believe that people, memories, and small moments can hold great meaning. Your appreciation for aesthetics, softness, and delicate detail suggests that you carry a creative or artistic side, whether expressed through your work, your environment, or simply your way of seeing the world. However, the choice of this chair also reveals an interesting complexity within you. Beneath your calm surface lies a strong inner resilience. People sometimes mistake gentleness for fragility, but you are far more durable than others realize. Your past experiences, especially emotional ones, have shaped you into someone who can endure, adapt, and still remain open-hearted. Yet you may sometimes struggle with setting boundaries or protecting your own emotional energy, because your instinct is to care, support, and understand. This can lead you to carry burdens that are not yours, or to stay connected to people or situations longer than you should, simply because you feel responsible for the emotional balance around you. The chair you chose symbolizes a personality that prefers depth over noise, authenticity over performance, and emotional truth over surface-level interaction. You may find comfort in routines, meaningful conversations, gentle environments, and the familiar warmth of people you trust. When you walk into a space, your presence adds softness, compassion, and stability. You are the type who pays attention to small gestures, who remembers what others forget, and who can make someone feel seen simply by listening with your full presence. There is wisdom in you, quiet, patient, and deeply rooted, not loud or demanding. You may also be someone who processes emotions deeply before expressing them, leading others to see you as calm, composed, and reflective. Your inner world is rich, textured, and layered with memories, imagination, and intuition. You are drawn to authenticity, sincerity, and emotional harmony, both in yourself and in the people you allow close. Chair number 1 mirrors the heart of someone who values emotional safety, inner beauty, and meaningful connection. It reveals a personality that is loyal, empathetic, creatively attuned, and profoundly human in the most beautiful way. Choosing this chair means you are someone who carries a gentle strength, an ability to love, heal, empathize, and understand on a level that many people cannot. You are not meant for noise, chaos, or emptiness. You are meant for depth, beauty, sincerity, and emotional truth. And in a world that often moves too fast, your presence is a reminder that the most powerful kind of strength is the kind that feels, cares, and remains open despite everything it has survived. If chair number 2 pulled you in first, listen closely. This choice says a great deal about how you meet the world and who you are at your core. That rich, buttoned leather and the solid, supportive frame suggest someone who values strength, reliability, and dignity. You are drawn to things that feel substantial and well-made because you unconsciously seek stability and a place of authority in your life. Choosing this chair indicates you have an instinct for leadership. Not necessarily the loud, performance-driven kind of leadership, but the steady, competent, quietly confident presence that people respect and rely upon. You likely carry responsibility naturally, tasks, people, standards. Others often look to you in moments of uncertainty because your posture, both physical and psychological, signals that you can withstand pressure and handle difficult choices. You prize competence and practice mastery. You prefer to enter a room prepared, composed, and in control of your emotions and your environment. At the same time, your attraction to this chair points to a taste for tradition and timelessness. You're likely someone who admires craftsmanship, structure, and the rules that have been proven to work. That does not mean you are closed-minded. Rather, you appreciate frameworks that foster reliability and protect what matters. Beneath your composed exterior, there is a deep reservoir of loyalty. You are loyal to principles, to people you care about, and to your commitments. You take promises seriously and expect the same resolve from others. This makes you a dependable partner, colleague, or friend, someone others can count on when stakes are high. But the very qualities that make you a pillar can also be the source of your inner friction. A preference for control and self-sufficiency may keep you from showing vulnerability, and you may guard your softer feelings behind a well-polished surface. The tufted back and firm arms are metaphors for how you cushion and contain emotion. They are present but structured, often organized into neat compartments you open only for a trusted few. This tendency can create distance in relationships. People may admire your steadiness, yet long for more of the warmth and spontaneity you keep private. You might find it hard to ask for help because you believe strength means carrying burdens alone. Recognize that asking for support is not weakness. It is an act of wisdom that actually expands your capacity to lead and love. There is also a streak of ambition here. Your gravitation toward a chair that looks both comfortable and commanding signals you want to be comfortable with power, influence, or success. You are motivated by meaningful achievement and by building a legacy that feels solid and respected. That drive can propel you to excellence, but beware of tying your identity too closely to external markers like status, title, or material success. When self-worth rides on performance, the inevitable setbacks hurt more deeply. A healthier path is to anchor your sense of value in internal qualities, integrity, clarity, and the impact you have on others, rather than only in outward accomplishments. Emotionally, you process in a deliberate way. You are not impulsive. You notice patterns, weigh options, and choose responses that preserve stability. This makes you an excellent crisis manager, but sometimes slow to adapt in fluid, creative contexts where improvisation is needed. Cultivate flexibility by practicing small acts of spontaneity. Allow yourself to choose the unplanned dish at dinner, or take a short detour on a walk. These tiny rebellions against rigidity train your nervous system to tolerate unpredictability and can bring fresh energy into your life. Your moral compass is likely direct. You like clarity, fairness, and well-defined boundaries. When others cross those boundaries, you can react with firmness, and sometimes with a stubbornness that feels immovable. Work on distinguishing firmness from inflexibility. Holding a boundary skillfully means explaining it with empathy and listening when others explain theirs. In relationships, you give enormous security. You will show up on time, keep agreements, and protect those close to you. But to deepen intimacy, intentionally share the interior story, your fears, your soft spots, and what truly delights you. Vulnerability shared in small, predictable ways becomes a platform for trust rather than a threat. In professional life, you excel in roles that require stewardship, strategy, and dependable judgment. You may be drawn to positions where you can design systems, lead teams with clear expectations, or manage projects that benefit from your methodical attention. Creativity is not absent from you. It often appears as elegant problem-solving or the tasteful refinement of systems, rather than flamboyant experimentation. Allow yourself creative outlets that respect your need for order: gardening, woodworking, composing plans, or crafting rituals that feel meaningful. Spiritually or psychologically, this chair points to a concern with legacy. What will endure because of your choices? That question can fuel purposeful action, but can also produce anxiety about reputation or control. Practice letting go of outcomes that you cannot influence. Focus instead on the quality of your intentions and the ethics of your process. To evolve, work on befriending vulnerability, on tolerating emotional messiness, and on loosening the tight grip of perfectionism. Try naming one small insecurity to a trusted person this week. The simple act of sharing will not erode your authority. It will humanize it. Finally, understand that your strength is a gift. It offers shelter to others and creates a foundation where difficult truths can be held and transformed. When balanced with openness and tenderness, the qualities represented by chair number 2 become a force for steady, compassionate leadership. You are someone who builds, protects, and endures, capable of great discipline and deeply committed to what matters. So let your competence be accompanied by curiosity, your solitude by deliberate connection, and your power by humility. In doing so, you won't merely occupy a chair of authority. You'll become someone people willingly follow because they know your strength is anchored in integrity and heart. If chair number 3 caught your eye first, listen closely. That simple, honest wooden design is speaking to very particular qualities inside you, and your immediate attraction to it reveals a personality rooted in practicality, clarity, and an appreciation for uncomplicated truth. You're the person who values function over ornament. You notice what works. You prefer things that are straightforward, and you have an instinctive distrust of anything that pretends to be more than it is. That doesn't mean you lack taste, quite the opposite. Your aesthetic is clean and efficient, and you take pleasure in things that are well-made and purposeful. Psychologically, this choice points to a temperament that prizes autonomy, order, and the freedom to move through life with minimal friction. You like structure that serves living, not structure for its own sake. Routines are tools, not prisons. Because of this, you often come across as dependable, resourceful, and unpretentious. People know that when you say you'll do something, you will, and you tend to solve problems by stripping them down to their essentials. You prefer direct language and honest feedback. You have little patience for performance or affectation, and you reward authenticity with loyalty. Socially, you can be warm but reserved, approachable without being needy. You enjoy conviviality that has purpose, a shared meal, a practical collaboration, or a conversation that moves toward a solution. You prize relationships that are straightforward and reciprocal, and you are especially good at noticing when people are not holding up their end of a social bargain. On the inside, though, your sensible exterior masks a more dynamic inner life. You are adaptable and pragmatic in the face of change, but you also carry a restless curiosity. You like to understand how things work, why people do what they do, and how to make systems more efficient or kinder. This curiosity fuels both your problem-solving and your desire for personal growth. You're likely the kind of person who learns through doing. You'd rather try and iterate than spend endless hours theorizing, which makes you both effective and honest about your limitations. At times, though, that same practicality can be a double-edged sword. You may undervalue the emotional textures of experience because they don't immediately solve a problem or produce a measurable outcome. When feelings don't translate neatly into action steps, you can feel awkward or impatient with them. That can lead you to minimize your own needs or to ask others to be more rational than they are ready to be. Learning to tolerate ambiguity and to sit with emotions that resist tidy solutions would expand your influence and your inner freedom. Another tension you might face is between independence and connection. You prize autonomy so strongly that asking for help can feel like a failure. Yet, every life of meaning requires interdependence. The wooden chair's straightforward design suggests you are happiest when roles are clear. But life often asks for messy, uncharted cooperation. Practically speaking, you flourish when you create small, reliable rituals that allow you to be steady without becoming rigid. A weekly planning session that doubles as reflection, a simple creative hobby that has no outcome pressure, or a habit of checking in with one trusted person about how you really are. These tiny practices let you honor your preference for clarity while opening the door to softness and unpredictability. You also have an ethical orientation. Fairness matters to you, and you likely feel compelled to make systems more equitable or efficient. This can show up as a career path in teaching, project management, design, craft, or any field where skill meets service. You bring a calm competence to teams and often become a quiet stabilizer in crises because you can see what needs to be done and do it without drama. That skill is powerful, but it's important to marry competence with curiosity. Invite occasional experiments into your life where outcomes are deliberately uncertain, not to abandon your standards, but to build tolerance for the messy parts of being alive. Creativity for you may not be flamboyant, it's practical ingenuity, reconfiguring a workspace for flow, inventing a better way to communicate in a group, or crafting an experience that feels accessible and useful. Celebrate those smaller, system-level creative wins because they're adjacent to the deeper gifts you offer the world. On a relational level, practice naming your softer needs aloud. Small disclosures that won't compromise your autonomy, but that will allow others to respond to you in kind. Try saying, "I'd like company while I work," or "I could use help with this task," rather than defaulting to doing it alone. Those tiny shifts will deepen connection without draining your sense of competence. Emotionally, develop a short, reflective habit. 5 minutes a day of journaling about one feeling, not to solve it, but to notice it. This trains you to tolerate not knowing and enriches the clarity you already prize. Spiritually, or philosophically, the chair points toward a grounded simplicity. Meaning for you is often found in useful action, in honest relationships, and in the integrity of a life well ordered. If you ever feel bored or constrained by your own efficiency, let curiosity be your antidote. Pick something trivial and let it become a playground for experimentation. Finally, remember that simplicity is a strength only when it includes softness. Your capacity to be practical and clear gives others permission to be real around you. And when you intentionally pair your competence with gentle openness, you transform from someone who simply manages life well into someone who makes life better for others. Choosing chair number 3 suggests you are steady, sensible, and quietly brave, a person who builds usable beauty out of necessity. And as you allow a little more vulnerability into your structure, your life will gain richer textures without losing the clarity you cherish. No matter which chair drew you in, whether it was the gentle elegance of chair 1, the steady strength of chair 2, or the practical simplicity of chair 3, your choice reveals a unique part of who you are. Each of you carries gifts, strengths, and perspectives that the world needs. Embrace them, explore them, and let them guide the way you connect with yourself and others. If you enjoyed this journey into self-discovery, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more insights into your mind, personality, and the hidden layers that make you who you are. Remember, every choice you make is a step closer to understanding the amazing person you already are.